Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am the CEO of YouthNormality. Um, I decided to combine the two because I really haven't did what I was supposed to do with YouthNormality as far as updating videos and stuff like that. Like I said before, if you are one of these people who I speak of, I am not asking for favors. I am willing to pay someone because everyone knows when you start a nonprofit, you basically make your own salary as long as it's applicable to or equal in layman terms to your title. So I say all of that because I wanted to be very clear that it is a long, genuous process when you want to start a nonprofit. I will give you an example. My homie and his mom, because his mom is a recovering addict, she got like 25 years. And, it's a true blessing to know her. It's a true blessing to know her. It's a true blessing to be around her. And it's also a true blessing to get inspiration from her every once in a while when I feel like I'm down on myself or I have to make a tough decision. I go to her. And her son tried to set up a nonprofit because she used to get high in Kensington, if you from Philadelphia, and now she owns a restaurant and she goes around, and y'all might know her. She light skinned, flamboyant like me. Y'all might know exactly what I'm talking about. And the city told her, you are not allowed to feed homeless people. Now, if you ain't from Philadelphia, this is going to sound absolutely bumfuck crazy. But that's what they told her. She tried to start a nonprofit without profit, meaning she was trying to start a nonprofit just so it could be legitimized and she can have a staple or something that people can come to without the government trying to infiltrate or trying to throw a coup in our operation. By meaning, if they give you the money, they gonna want to control it. That's everything in life. I don't see how people don't understand it. That's everything in life. I have never been in a situation where I was not the person spending something and I wasn't in control. If I was, it was a mistake. But what I would say is that it is very difficult to do what I'm doing because regardless of whether people associate me with money, I learned this from a millionaire. His name was Boko. My brother Breeze gonna laugh when I say it because my brother Breeze put me on to Boko, millionaire. He did master plumbing. And he was dirty every day I seen him. This nigga was dirty. But every time I seen him, we was in a fucking 6-story building, an 8-story building. We had to run the copper all the way down. We had to put the water heaters in. We had to do all this stuff. And just like my grandmom, he taught me something that, forget it, that was like my uncle. That was my man, period. He utilized my gifts in every aspect, If somebody ain't pay him, he sent me. If somebody, was trying to mess our job up, he sent me. And, I have no recollections about that, nor do I deny him his praise for it because he's seen I had a skill. If you pick up a hammer and crack somebody in the head with it, it's a weapon. But a hammer by itself is just to drive nails or pull nails or do other things. So he seen something in me to know that I was capable and also equipped with the ability to do so. What am I talking about? Why did I mention all that stuff? Because this is Youth Normality. This ain't Day in the Life. This ain't Fat Boy's Kitchen. This is not, deli bread. This is not Sunday motivation, inspiration. This is all shit that I got underneath my belt. And I don't need nobody to pat me on my back. These are my shows. So, the reason I'm bringing this up is because today's topic for Youth Normality is parenting. Now, because it's on Youth Normality, it's not necessarily people who are not in Youth Normality or people who are followers on multiple platforms do not have to think that this is only for children. This is for everyone. My father name is Wilson Washington also. And that might shock a lot of people because if you watch me and follow me, you know that my father is Breeze Gorton Sanford. His name is not Wilson Washington. My dad name is Wilson Washington. The person who ejaculated into my mother, causing sperm to go to an egg, is my dad. My father, look up the two words. I mean, I don't say look up the word because I want people to think that that's my catchphrase, even though I have already got told that's your catchphrase. You sound like a preacher. Every time you say, I'll be looking for your video, and every time you say look up the word, I'll be like, oh, I had no clue because I really want people to understand that I had no idea until I was in jail and I started reading the dictionary how many words I use. I did not know what they mean. And the only reason I say look up the word is not because I think I am intelligent or smarter than you. I want you to experience the same bliss that I experienced when I looked up the word. And now when I walk around and I speak, I realize that I am speaking in the form of words, not my opinion. Because I change words. For instance, in my opinion, if I see a beautiful woman and I say, God damn, she fucking hot as a firecracker. She is not hot and she is not a firecracker, but that is the way I chose to use the words. I use words for what they mean, not what they mean to me. And that is penned by me. So, my dad is extremely wealthy. If you don't believe me, look it up. I looked it up. The beef I have with parenting is this. Every woman out there who has a child who has a problem, understand one thing. You cannot cheat DNA. You cannot cheat genetic altering, which is whatever the mother and father has in them, it will be split by the Y and the X chromosome. And what will be split is the way they look, the way they behave, habits, things of that nature. If you are a woman and you chose to lay down with a good nothing nigga, don't blame your children for having good nothing nigga traits. You should have thought better before you laid down with them. And that is not a beef or a gripe with my mother. It's simply the truth. And last time I checked, God blame you for lies, not the truth. It is not my fault that I was born by a man who is so ignorant, even in wealth, he did not care enough about the soul, the person, the child that he left behind. And I am the only one of my children who has a different father. So I've always felt alone, by myself. I found out the wrong way. But I thank the God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Jehovah, God, that he sent Gordon Sanford into my life. Because when I go through things in life, I can hear my dad then I hear my father. And I compare the two. I seen my dad twice. Once on the internet and once in person. I seen my father until he died. Not one weekend off. And if it was, I don't remember. And I choose not to remember by someone's ignorant memory trying to discredit my father's ability to be a father. Because whatever you accredit to that, you attribute the absolute title, which means you are saying something that he did not do as a father. Maybe a husband, a boyfriend, a friend. That don't concern me. I am his son. So I say these things to say, being a parent is hard. You make sacrifices. You do stuff that you normally, if you were by yourself, would not do. If I was by myself and I did not have my beautiful 3 sons, my kings, none of y'all will have a chance. Because I realized my power. And if I can only rely on my power and use my power, I would move to Arizona, Ohio, Utah, and get farthest away from motherfuckers I possibly can. Because the reality of it is that people are users. Why is this any important to the youth? I want the young people who are in the loop, got followers on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, all of these places who got followers, and you go to school and a girl on your top or that dude on your top because you're beautiful and you got long hair and you're shaped nice like your mom. I want y'all to understand something. Until you understand what a parent is, you might not want a child. Until you understand by picking the person you have a child with is extremely important, you might not want to get pregnant or impregnate a woman. I know they took away sex ed, and this is probably why 15-year-old and 14-year-old people, even though it happened in the past, but not at this rate, this is probably why they having babies and all kinds of shit, because you took the education and you took the ability for me to say, you need to go buy rubbers, my man. And my women, you need to go make them niggas get rubbers. See, if I say that, it sounds like I'm encouraging young people to have sex. No, I'm encouraging young people not to make the worst mistake of their life. Because once you have one and it comes into the world, you can't say psych, whether you abandoned that child or whether you raise it. You can't say psych. But you can do something before you have one And you can prepare for having one, which means in return, you will acknowledge the fact that I, right now, am not ready for one. Therefore, when a child comes into the world, you will understand that child did not ask to come into the world. He did not ask to be here. He did not ask to have a nothing as good father dad. He did not ask for it. You brought that child into the world. Therefore, you are responsible for him, not what the world tells you, but what the Bible tells you. And the Quran and the Torah. What is my proof for you good Christians and you good Muslims and all of you good people who run around like y'all don't have sin? The first time they talked about Prophet Isa, Jesus, they talked about him as a child, and he was running around in the temple with his mom, and then his mom took his eyes off him like we do our children at the supermarket, like we do our children at Walt Disney World, like we do our children at Clemson Park, like we do our children at Fairmount Park. She lost sight of him and lost him. There was no speakers, there was no intercom for her to say, Jesus, can you please come to aisle 6? Your mom is looking for her. No, so she searched. There is no description of time, but it says that when she found Jesus, he was studying with the scholars. What does that have anything to do with me? Jesus' mother was with him till he was 40. Or 38. One of them two, may Allah forgive me for taking away, is Prophet Isa's death date. How old he was. But the bottom line is that when he was crucified, his mother was there. So did his mother say, you 18, you got to get out? Did his father? Did anybody say that? No. I have 3 beautiful kings. Ethan, Christian, and Wilson. I said it backwards. On purpose. I refuse to be what my father was. My dad was. And I choose, no matter how hard it is, to be what my dad was. And I pray that you mothers choose to be something greater if your mother is not an example. That you be an example for your sons. Because they will grow old. And my sons, even though right now they may not understand the turmoil and the pressure and the bullshit I go through just to put my eyes on them. When they get older, they will realize that they're not my dad. That I was not my dad. I was my father. Because this is not deli bread or anything, the usual ending would not be it. But I would encourage everyone to do those things. And I will also encourage people to never quit. If you're a mother and you're on drugs and you got your life together And people telling you can't have your children, never quit. If you're a father and you've been through some stuff and it took you away from your children, never quit. You quit when you die. Because once they are born, their lives become more important than yours. It's your boy Decopbo 1.5.